We couldn't be more excited to be joined by Jade Martin, game designer of Hero of the Storms. Thank you so much for stopping by, Jade.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm so excited.
This is a big BlizzCon for you guys.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I was out there at the opening ceremony when we showed Varian and Ragnaros being revealed in that hype trailer, and just hearing the cheers from the crowd, I was just like, my heart was like exploding with happiness, right?
The cinematic is just perfect. I mean, it kind of mirrors Varian's cinematic a bit in Warcraft when he just comes back for a moment.
Yeah.
So it was just this beautiful way that you guys did it. And I honestly, Alex and I were shocked that Ragnaros was actually going to be a playable character.
You see him in the cutscene, you're like, that's cool. And then you're like, oh yeah, and by the way, you can play him. Bam!
Yeah,
I'm
it was like mic drop moment, KO, like just put that out there. It was funny because I've heard that all throughout the con, people were like, he just looks so huge and so large. I had no idea that we were going to be able to play him. I just thought he was part of the cinematic. And as soon as he said that and the crowd erupted, I was like, yes, he did it.
You know, speaking about like just the grandiose of Ragnaros. I mean, he's such a giant boss, such a
you can say the audacity of Ragnaros.
The audacity of Ragnaros. He's insane. I mean, he is one of the most famous, well-known bosses in all of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So, what was it like for you as a game designer, bringing to life this larger-than-life boss?
Oh, it was super easy, actually. No, I'm just totally kidding. It was. I wish I could say that. No, it was an absolute challenge because you're absolutely right. He is larger than life, and he's really the first experience a lot of people had in the Molten Core in a raiding environment against this huge raid boss. And so transitioning that into the Nexus, it's really hard because how do we capture that feeling and not make it overpowered, right? Because we have a competitive game. We have to make sure that it's competitive. So we need to make sure that we keep it balanced and also capture that feeling. And that's what his trait, Molten Core, is all about, right? Taking over those forts and keeps, taking them over, becoming huge, getting these new set of abilities, and just having people kind of fear you. That's his moment.
It's hysterical. I was talking to a buddy of mine just at the thing because we had got some hands-on, I think Thursday night. So we were like, I literally spent the night just like, can I please be playing him again? And he was like, I was like, dude, you take over the towers. And he was like, yeah, that's a crazy heroic ability. And I go, no. That's his D. And he was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, so many times I'm hearing people like, oh, that's a cool heroic. Guys, no. I'm like, reading it. No, that's his trait, guys. He gets that at level 1. That's how crazy he is.
Yeah. Well, and his heroics are nuts, by the way, too. So it's not like he's got lame heroics and then he gets to do this cool thing.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, so we have Molten Core. This is a really awesome trait. Now, what are we going to do for his heroics? We obviously have to upstage that, right? And he has Lava Wave is his R2, right? And he sends a wave of fire from his core down the lane to the enemy core.
Oh, it's great. I love
instantly
it.
killing minions, right? Like, let's turn it up to 11. So.
What's awesome is because you could take one of yours, you could take one of theirs, and it's able to be able to defend or push, kind of depending on where you're at in the game.
Yeah, so I've been watching people play on the show floor all day and today and yesterday, and they're not noticing that you can actually take over destroyed forts. So it is really a good pushing tool too, right? Because you don't have to use it just to defend. There are a lot of great defending moments, but there's a lot of good pushing moments too. Because like it creates that epic moment we were talking about earlier, right? When you're pushing, like when we're playing it internally, we always have those Ragnaros moments, and we're pushing with a team, and then enemy teams, you can hear him across the room like, guys, be careful, Ragnaros is about to take this over. We're gonna destroy it, and he's gonna take it over, right? So like we had these awesome moments, and I just can't wait to see that on live.
God, that's crazy. I just like, how in the world did you guys decide to make him assassin as opposed to utility?
Yeah,
because it feels to me like a utility type character, but at the same time he wrecks. So
that's another thing I've been hearing a lot. So we could have labeled him as assassin specialist. Ultimately, we didn't label him as a specialist and decided to go for assassin because we felt that fit more of his kit and his theme, because he does have a lot of burst damage inside of his kit. And this is his trait, Molten Core, that's not always up, and we're trying to actually branch out on our classifications a little bit too in the future.
Okay.
So it's not going to be so black and white as assassin and
as we're kind of actually seeing with Varian.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, a great example of it, because we've got our first multi-class hero here.
Exactly. So Varian's a great example of that. He's neither a warrior or assassin. It really depends what he chooses at 10 of what he's going to be. So we didn't want to like push him into that specialist role, and people have the expectation that he plays like a Murky or an Abathur or a Cho'Gall. Well, Cho'Gall's warrior in sorry. But not play, I meant in Lost Vikings, right? And not play like that, because he plays more like an assassin, and you should treat him that way.
Yeah.
kind of like a thrall almost is a good
Yeah.
comparison, right? Like
Yeah.
I see that.
Except
yes.
he's kind of like a thrall, but he has the ability to take over forward, so making him a little bit different.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, obviously it must be very difficult to put any character into this game, knowing that there's a whole ecosystem of competitive, there's a whole esports ecosystem, which you guys are backing very hard, which is amazing.
Yes.
But how, I mean,
So good.
that process of tuning, is it as difficult as I expect it to be? Or is it one of those things you're like, you know, it's surprisingly not so bad?
For me, it's not hard at all because luckily I'm a hero designer, and that's totally our balance team that gets to handle
Not
all
my
that
problem.
stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah, I get to create all the problems, and they get to solve them for me. But it is a challenge, and we have daily discussions with the hero designers and the balance team, and we're always talking about heroes, and we play them daily to test them out internally to make sure that we're not doing anything too crazy that would hurt the competitive scene. Another great thing about our balance and our live team is we're making updates weekly and bi-weekly when necessary, especially when new heroes release. Samuro being a good example. Like we have a nerf coming next week. He's obviously really strong right now.
Samuro was just banned
and,
on like every single time I played.
And we love Samuro, and we want people to play him. So we're gonna get the balance right. It's just it's tweaks and tuning, and we may not always get it right the first time, but we're always paying attention to it, looking at the data and addressing it as soon as we can.
Well, as a hero designer, is there any specific heroes from the entire Blizz universe here that you're dying to see?
Come into the game, or oh man. Well, see, I'm actually really lucky because prior to actually doing hero design, the two I really wanted to see in were Gul'dan and Ragnaros, and I actually got to do both of them.
Amazing!
So I'm really
Gul'dan's
excited.
great.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, he was getting some bans. He was actually being played when I was headed over here. So yeah, MVP Saki was playing him.
Oh, that's great.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm but that's kind of a cheap answer, right? Because they're already coming in. If I could pick any, I think there are a couple I'd love to see. Kel'Thuzad, some of the dragon aspects, right? Deathwing, like any of those.
Dragon aspect.
Yeah. Some of those big heroes I would love to see. Absolutely, Alex Straza, like any of those that are kind of like crazy and like another Ragnaros, where you're like, how are we gonna put this huge character into our game?
I'm just gonna put a few in your head before,
Okay.
before
I like
we
it.
ask the next question.
Now's the
Professor
time.
Future Side, Mimiron.
Yeah.
And what was my third one that I always say? No, I'm like,
one of the old gods, right?
old god. Yaxaron or N'Zoth.
Those all of
Yaxaron
four
would
of
be
those,
great.
all four of those would be
God,
really
Yogg would
cool.
be
I have
crazy.
some ideas for them already.
Future Side
so.
with the vials.
Oh yeah, I mean Future Side could be like a really cool kind of like dark support type, like you could do some really fun stuff. So I think those would be great heroes.
Yay, I told the right person.
Yeah,
this
you
time.
totally did.
Yeah, so I'll put them on the list, but I don't
It's
know how
a
far
long
it'll go.
list.
Long shot, but hey, I'm trying.
Yeah. And also, you guys talked about the new Booty Bay. It's Booty Bay, right? Pirates Bay?
Blackheart's
Blackheart's
yeah.
Bay. Booty Bay. I got my WoW on my brain.
Booty Bay,
yeah.
But yeah, so you have a new brawl.
Yeah.
How has that brawl helped sort of allow you guys to sort of flex your creativity muscle?
Oh, it's cool. It's this attack defend asymmetrical map, right?
Yeah.
That we've never really explored before. And the other thing is it's very you go in and you join the queue and you're either attacking or defending, and then the game's over when you win or lose, right?
So it's not a you try, I try thing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's not equal. So it allows us to do some really cool like things, and it's kind of like a payload map almost from
Yes,
Overwatch,
totally,
right?
great.
So you're
call.
kind of getting those little vibes from it. So it allows us to explore different things, and who knows what that means for our future maps, right? We can kind of see what works in these brawls, and that's what's so great about all these brawls in general is like people can get in and play them for a week and have a lot of fun, and then we can see kind of what they liked and didn't like about those, and kind of move forward with those ideas and address those with our future maps.
Well, I love that you also expanded on Blackheart, just because he's just a really cool character
So
you guys
great.
made.
I love it.
I would do a totally terrible pirate voice, but I love when he's like starting the map
Do
and
it,
he's
do it.
like, no, I'm too embarrassed.
Oh my
So
God.
good though, but yeah, he's so good. I'm glad you guys have implemented this
Totally.
mode.
Well,
Yeah,
look, thank you so much for coming by and
absolutely, guys.
spending
Thank you.
time on the Blizz couch, Jade.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
fantastic. You have burning questions in your heart. We all do. Well, we are going to have the answers because it's time for the World of Warcraft Q&A panel.